A public service in crisis. That's how labor unions describe the current state of the public sector. Many are decrying the dire state of the public sector and its impact on service delivery. The Public Servants Association's Claude Naicker says the unfavorable working conditions are killing the workers' morale.
We are in a crisis situation, not only with funding, but as far as infrastructure is concerned, as far as staff shortage is concerned. So we wait with bated breath as to the budget announcement that is going to come up shortly, whether we are indeed going to get extra money to try and take care. We're not very optimistic at this stage. However, one needs to be optimistic, not only for the sake of the public, for members that are currently working in all public sector departments across the country. When we looked at the initial budget, the money that was allocated for education and health and the police services, totally inadequate. We're finding ourselves in a problem situation.
The proposed budget makes provision for a 3-year wage agreement. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has admitted that the agreement exceeds the 2024 budget and the MTBPS projections, but drew comfort in its duration, which he said reduced uncertainty in budget planning. The wage deal will cost taxpayers an additional 24 billion rand. COSATU's Matthew Parks says they are skeptical about the budget being passed on the 1st of April, but want the agreement honoured.
We do need a budget being passed. We can't afford for Parliament not to pass a budget because that would mean that no new expenditure can be undertaken. That will put at risk workers' salaries, social grants to the poor, investments in the economy and the infrastructure, and so on. The most critical one, rather, is tomorrow, where we'll make our submission as COSATU on what we think needs to be retained in the budget. For example, the key progressive items which we think are going to help workers, like the public sector wage agreement, like filling critical frontline vacancies in the state, reinforcing frontline departments which had been really decimated by austerity budget cuts over the year.
Government has in the 2025 budget also set aside 11 billion rand to incentivize workers over 55 years to take early retirement. This has seen reservations by the unions. The South African Policing Union's Lisiba Tubahali says this does not become a priority as there are immediate issues that the budget must speak to.
We take note of the developments around and challenges around whether the budget will be passed or not. But those are political decisions that needs to be taken by those role players that have to take those decisions. We are sticking to the fact that government has concluded an agreement with the workers, and we expect government to ensure that what we have concluded with them as trade unions and us as SABC with them in terms of that resolution is it is fully implemented accordingly. We hope that there are not going to be any delays that are going to delay any form of implementation, because the workers are waiting to see a full implementation as of the 1st of April. When we look at the safety and security sector, we quite find comfort as well, as you have seen the increase of the budget, more especially to Department of Correctional Services to deal with issues of the workers.
Labour will add its voice to Parliament's public hearings into the 2025 budget this week, with workers hopeful that their contribution will be considered. If the budget is not passed on the 1st of April, the start of the new fiscal year, the law allows the government to continue spending up to 45% of the previous year's budget until Parliament approves the new budget, as government cannot implement new budgetary allocations without parliamentary approval. Katlego Logodi, SABC News in Johannesburg.